way before the war on normal types or war on psychics. Or
I'm
psychic types.
thinking you should just make this into War on Pokemon.
No, the name of the
Like,
the name of
overarching.
the series is War on Pokemon.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Pokemon.
Oh, right,
yes,
these
thank
two.
you. Oh my gosh, I love the sleepy guy.
Oh yeah.
It's quite cute.
Oh,
Ugh.
Yikes.
Oh,
Another
Oh god, he's a
violent-
puppet.
Another violent woman. Yikes.
What is this theme?
God, he's fucking
Can I
adorable.
kind of do this? I kind of want to do this.
You don't want her?
Okay.
I don't, but She
If
was
you
just
want both of them,
annoying in
have
my
at
head.
it. It's your
Are they
grave.
each wearing the same scarf?
I said that
Wearing
last
one
night,
scarf,
yeah.
no matter. Ah,
Her bow tie is made out of the same material too.
But if you want to voice this guy, you need to put something in your mouth. I don't know what it is, but like
oh, because he has
he's-
the strap in his mouth.
hold on.
he's clearly got something. in there.
I got it. Okay. Constant wobbly beats, sir. Not until we're put on the street, sir.
Oh.
Oh no.
I don't know if I want to do both.
You're
though. Someone else do
married?
Oh.
it. They both look like young kids.
What, you don't think this guy slams?
Too much by the looks of him.
Too much?
Oh wait, hold up. I just realized I'm not recording.
Nope.
I'm
So who's
streaming,
gonna take
but I
her?
didn't record.
Because I don't want to.
What?
You don't think this guy slams every single day?
That's why he's so
In fact,
exhausted.
I don't.
In an effort to make Adrian stop. Adrian, she's you.
Okay. And I'm Mrs. Beat. Patricia's my name. I'm proud to say I'm this young town hero's wife. We slam
hero.
every day.
I was
Oh,
waiting for that.
Oh.
What's the story here?
Well, in truth, we've not been married long, but we have been slamming long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day. Take a guess how?
Shut up! How did I know that this would? Why didn't I think this would happen? Am I a fool?
Yes.
Oh,
Perhaps.
Yes, actually, I think that's the case for this. If you wanted Adrian to stop talking, you should have not given him the role.
What have you done?
no, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems tired.
Take a guess why? Hardly surprising, considering they must have been.
They must have been slamming.
Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the field.
Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually.
Indeed, apart from rare days off, they slam all night long. Our gallant officers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check that meters are reading true.
Slam.
Slam constantly. And they're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our street lights. They're responsible for the lightning.
There are a number of items on the
No.
list that don't sound like policing duties.
I actually started talking and I was muted.
I wouldn't just
Thank
be
you.
falling asleep on my feet. I'd have collapsed long ago.
But it goes without saying that a policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals.
Dude, what if he doesn't even know he's married?
Even when he's off duty, a constable is
That'd be
expected
great.
to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. For the London Bobby is a man of honor, and also he's swole as hell.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And a man of slumber.
A man.
Waffle.
On the day in question,
Fish and chips.
this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction, and they witnessed the instant as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Beat? Oh yes, isn't it right, Roly? We were mid-slam when it happened.
You're in public!
You're walking!
Oh, Constable Rolly Beat, sir! Nothing to report on the street, sir!
What a great witness he's going to be.
Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw on the afternoon of the incident.
Yes, sir! Oh,
I love him.
These two are really weird because they both have like the same eyes. Because they both have like they both have like piercing blue eyes with star-shaped irises, which is
Does
weird.
he?
Yeah, when
know
he
if he
when he does
does.
the thing, he has star-shaped irises. I thought, and then her hair doesn't look like hair; it looks like cotton stuffing, or like a quilted blanket.
Sure.
It was our wedding anniversary, and Rolly was taking me out for a meal before he was going to do something else. There was no time to change after work. Anyway,
I had
two
no idea
silhouettes
what it was.
appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor. Then the other one scattered something before running off.
I thought there was no fog or like light fog.
Well, there we go. We can maybe...
Crazy eyes you got, though.
We ran straight over, of course, and then went to help a nearby police box.
Excuse
the
me,
shot.
They were
Patricia.
clearly the main
Yes.
people of a
Patricia.
shoujo manga.
You should really get your eyes checked, I think. Like, they're not supposed to do that. Do what? It cuts to, like, a close-up, and it's just, like, a bunch of, like, little alien crabs that are just trying to move her
Jesus
pupils.
Christ.
Oh, Jesus.
You guys remember what the old, what is it? Like the shoujo mangas, like the romance ones? Like, she looks exactly like the old-fashioned ones with the eyes.
It was
a
definitely
bird.
that Japanese man in the dog. Rolly and I both saw him clear as day. He always has clarity of a specific kind.
Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say.
No, it's not!
Totally is.
Oh dear. This policeman and his wife are claiming to have positively identified Mr. Joestar at the scene. If their testimony is true, the alternative course of events that you established in the summation examination will be squashed.
Washed.
Not
It's death
squashed,
knell, in fact.
squashed.
Because that alternative was never viable in the first place.
What an unfortunate beat chancing. And on your wedding anniversary, too.
Oh, I know.
Anniversary.
But I still managed to go out for the evening with my man, and I thank the Lord for that.
Gosh, the life of a London Bobby sure sounds very hard indeed.
Say that again.
However, it's not the only thing out of this is hard. His helmet, too. This cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may well have time to rest this afternoon, or do something else, I don't know, privately at home.
What do you mean by that?
My learned friend, the witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was without doubt the accused, Mr. Joestar. And one of the witnesses is a policeman, no less. So you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure. Or do we need to press the gravity button?
Oh, no.
Except
Bro,
that man's so
Raven,
tired,
no.
his wife had to do all the talking.
Enough preamble. Counsel for the defense. Commence your cross-examination, please.
You know, I'm really glad that we're establishing the well-known international law that is police officers can't lie. They can't.
Yeah.
As soon as a police officer says something, it has to be true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Haven't you heard?
Haven't you heard?
There's never been a corrupt or incompetent police officer in the entire Ace Attorney series.
They have
Ever.
always been nice.
Never.
You never lie.
He's not evil. Just remember
Boys.
that, guys.
He's not evil.
I don't know if this guy would be evil so much as just bumbling.
He's not inept.
He doesn't know where he is right now.
I was just referencing, you know, someone else that Adrian may or may not
Right,
be familiar with.
Of course. Dude, I want you. Oh my
Oh
god.
my god, look how fat she is!
Wait, by this point, are we sure they just
It's-
didn't mistake that for the old man? Like, from
Well,
this
they say
angle,
that they
I
say
don't
that
know.
they were walking along Briar Road, so I don't know, man.
There
They
was
said
a
they were
rather plump figure, followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man.
Wide stream.
Wide stream.
It also sounds like the old man, Susato. You gotta be more aggressive with your convictions, guys.
Gotta be more aggressive.
One jump ahead.
In general, right? You gotta
You
just
gotta be
punch
more.
everyone, Grant, right?
Yeah,
if
just
you don't
do
like,
it.
if you
Violence
don't-
is the answer.
if you don't like what the prosecutor says, just punch him.
Yeah,
Can't talk anymore.
that's what Von Karma did.
That's what the swords are for.
Yeah.
I'm glad we finally addressed it. These two are just.
Pedestrian.
So something is like I would want to know like what like why even mention fog if clearly everyone can see.
Because it was unusually light fog.
Look at her face!
There's a copa who
With
spends their
love.
day every day.
Now that's a face that says they're gonna do something, but I don't know what exactly it is.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, right in the
Whoa.
courtroom?
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Dude,
Oh, that's actually
That's
cute.
pretty cute.
and
Oh.
it's just like, put pants on!
Oh no.
Hmm.
I mean, at least for him, he literally can't run away from her even if he wanted to. Luckily, they're in love. You know.
This time.
Okay, so it wasn't that.
Ooh. This is the 5th time. Lawrence.
Scattered something? What do you mean by that? Hmm.
Oh yikes! Sounds like a neck breaking.
It's a little it's a little brutal that she has to do that every time just to wake him up.
Some books.
These two
See,
are
does
just
does
totally
is his
normal.
eyes stars? I just couldn't see.
They
they're
they
kinda
look
like
less like
dotted.
stars and more like bubbles or like lens flares like you would also see in a Bishoujo manga.
It's still very shiny.
That rotten Japanese man.
Oh,
I
Oh,
can't wait
boy.
until this is revealed to just be like a mannequin with a wig on or something.
no, it's the old man.
It's just
It's the judge.
Yeah.
It's
It's that old man up there. Oh, I forgot about that time I was stabbed with a knife and fell over.
Yeah,
was wearing
really
green.
sucks.
The
No, I was
cat,
in a coma.
the cat-like eyes, the taut mouth.
I never woke up from that coma.
Does he have cat-like eyes? Like,
I
his
think
eyes
that's
are
a
more
reference
like-
to him
the
being
coma.
Asian.
Oh, because I was like, he's got more JoJo style eyes than that.
Yeah, what are you talking about cat-like?
Yeah. I don't.
There you go. That's what
He's
you're
got
looking
more
for.
cat eye. He's got more of a cat eye than he does.
Isn't that like a
Uh,
makeup term, cat's eye or something?
No idea.
Yes, a cat
No,
eye.
I'm-
Cat eye is a type of makeup thing.
Oh, I might have heard that, but I was also thinking of smoky eye actually.
But that is
Her-
also another term of makeup.
Right,
Her
that's what I was
head,
saying.
her head looks like a flame, like
Her-
like a candle.
She's a candle. She was saying
Yeah.
she's a candle. Can we can't see the old man. He's not going to be in here. Does he have something on his head that could like, take place of that tiny little poop?
I mean, he's
on-
got the long crescent, head. So it could be his hair.
Maybe.
other old man, the one who's on the witness stand right now.
Oh, okay.
He's wearing a hat, I think, only.
Terrifying, intense eyes. He started doing karate, and then he pulled out his katana, and then he asked me if I wanted sushi. Just
The
like,
katana bit is not too far-fetched considering what we have on us.
excuse
That's
you.
cool.
This is the soul of my deceased friend.
Right. Which I don't think we owned a katana, which means that before that we didn't own. We apparently owned no soul, according to our best friend and mentor.
That's
True.
why we weren't a lawyer yet.
Is that classism to look down on people who don't own swords?
It's class.
I don't know. Is it Saba?
To look down on people who
Actually,
don't own
you know what?
verifiers.
Now that I think about it, it's actually just the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To get a
The sword
sword?
thing should be to look down on people who don't have swords.
it's the only way.
See, I don't get it. He was saying we can see far, and then she's just like, two appeared out of the mist, as if we were like in a misty forest. And I'm like,
You
none
can't
of this
see
makes
nothing.
sense. Which one is it?
There's still
Which
doesn't
one
add
can
up.
you not see?
Spell Explodo. I don't know where that came from. I just want to add something.
Thank you.
There can't all be winners, guys.
It just happens.
How? No, I could spell Explodo.
So I
Are you
still
sure?
think, Zach, that
I
it's
meant to
something
press
to do with
I meant to press
the
this.
thing, right?
Well, so they brought up, because there's multiple witnesses, right? So it's going to be a circumstance where either he's going to say something or she's going to say something and then the other person's going to respond. I have no idea which press is going to do that to make the contradiction appear. Because we pressed both statements that have to do with vision and neither of them did anything. Us Londoners have exceptional eyesight, you know.
That's because half the time their vision is clouded, so they don't have to try.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say for her in particular, it's because she has fucking sci-fi laser vision.
Oh, she's got that
Imagine her perception.
old shoujo powers of like, because of romance and love. She's like, I can see my love from 50 miles away. Cause power of love. This is the fifth time, Lawrence. Don't
He's
forget.
gonna-
She's tried real hard.
He's gonna die.
I was gonna say his head's gonna fall off like a loose mannequin.
Like she's shaking him like an infant.
Oh, I was. Did you
What
see
kind of infants are you shaking, Zach?
Often and many.
Okay, fair enough.
Everyone he sees.
Given that one story you had about how you orchestrated 5 children to smash heads together, that makes sense. That
It was
stands.
so good.
That
Exactly.
was blatantly evil, but yes.
She also literally just said the fog does make her eyes sharper.
I can't fucking believe it.
I can't believe she actually said that.
You draw
Pokemon
upon the
ability.
power of fog. Is this the same thing? Yeah. It was because we're at the end of the thing. But fucking, dude, I don't know. Let's talk about their wedding, I guess. So Adrian can make another slam joke so he doesn't have to spell Explodo.
What? How'd you know I was still on that? S E
You're wrong. It starts with the. Oh my God.
starts with a G, right?
X. No, it starts with an X. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, crap. Oh, shit. Theta just raided with 24 people.
Oh, my
God.
Oh,
Hello, welcome
Oh,
everybody.
It's a- hang on,
Everybody,
this line-
everybody act calm. No more slamming jokes unless it's funny.
I was gonna say, look at this
No,
line. This
double
job for
down.
strapping young men.
Welcome
Can't believe we have to
everybody.
make
Hopefully
content.
you enjoy the show. We're currently on case 4 of 5 of the Great Ace Attorney 1. And we're struggling. We're
currently
struggling a
on-
little
not
bit.
yet.
We're currently on instance 5 of 29 of me making slam jokes this episode.
That's true.
Someone's name is Ouchie Butt. That's pretty good. that's a really good name. All right, now we're heading back to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there. I much prefer you in uniform.
Ooh.
Do you think? Do
Yes,
you
he does
think?
wear that.
Do you think she purposefully plans their outing so he doesn't have enough time to change?
I don't think.
Nice. Great.
To answer your question, Salva, yes. I 100% believe that.
What the heck does
Oh.
theta died at the end of 9D mean? I don't know what 9D means.
Well, you see, it's a number that comes after
90s?
89, Zach, and before 91.
You know
Yeah.
what? Makes sense.
You're right.
Oh,
Warrant
funny
card.
stuff.
evidence.
It's patrol.
Glorious.
Complicated.
Stop
can't
doing.
wait
You're
till
gonna
we
hurt
look-
yourself. Stop doing that.
I can't wait for us to look inside it, and it's just completely torn out, and there's nothing inside it.
Yeah.
No, we open it up and it's just over and over and over. Help me, please, help.
She's crazy. Just free me.
Although this is pretty indicative of it being pretty intense.
It's a really cute animation.
Wait,
Oh my God, their
that's the
eyes are
pun. It's
sparkling.
Pat. It's Pat Roley. Patrol.
Oh,
Wow.
I was wondering about that.
Do we know her first name? Can we see the
It's
course
Patricia.
record?
That's what I just said.
Oh, it's also the same pun.
It's Patricia beat and Roley beat. So because they're patrolling the beat. That's what a cop does.
Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations.
These guys
We
is
did
like,
it.
fun game is
Stream over.
Solved
500
Ace
times stronger
Attorney.
than
We
before.
figured it out,
solved-
ladies and gentlemen.
The only
Stream
reason
over
why we're
one.
here is
We-
to
we
figure out
unlocked-
the pun names.
We unlocked a secret cutscene where we get to watch them slam
No.
on stream.
And then Zach gets banned from Twitch.
Again.
we never come back
Okay.
again.
We don't talk about the last
Again.
time Zach was banned from Twitch.
Oh no.
It involved a certain devious Google search result.
Long start.
Long start.
No, not again.
No, it's coming back.
Don't search it.
How many did he drop? Can you give me a number, young lad?
10,000.
10,000 books.
So
He dropped the entire
rotten
store.
Japanese man.
Yeah, the entire library.
Nice.
Shelves and all.
You ever just carry a library?
You don't?
Okay, the hunched back makes sense with a mustache.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Did he have a mustache?
The Hunchback of Mustaching.
Suddenly he threw his
Mustaching as
books
a
onto the
verb.
pavement and ran away.
Once again, was he holding it in both his hands? Because if he was, how could he have stabbed the victim?
With his mouth. The knife was in his face.
Yeah, he was
So
a One Piece character.
He was holding the mouth in, or he was holding the mouth. He was holding the knife
was
in
holding
his
the
Someone
mouth.
else.
He was holding the entire time. He was just like strolling down the street with a knife in his mouth.
Yeah, that's how I like to read. It's so that, like, why would you want to
Just
turn...
stab the page.
Well, why would you ever want to turn the page? I would rather just slice it off so that way it peels off.
That actually hurts me. It physically
It hurts the
me
book
to hear.
Turk too.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, I can make the knife hurt you, but I don't want to. You're too valuable as a voice actress.
You would never get close enough with her extended reach from her swords.
That's true.
Oh.
uh, okay. Bro.
Here's another victorious instance for swords overall.
Swords
You know
are
what her
swords
look
are
like?
pretty tough to beat, to be quite honest.
Yep.
Guys,
There is
that doesn't-
definitely nothing historically that made swords obsolete.
No, not at all.
Correct.
Even in the
Let me just
future, they
make
use
sure.
swords.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
true.
haven't you seen literally any sci-fi movie?
Guys,
Sword.
her hair looks like crinkle fries.
I don't think it looks like
well,
crinkle
it's-
fries.
It
If
looks
your
like
crinkle
delicious.
fries look like that, you need to stop inflating them.
Lumpy fries.
Lumpy fries.
Lumpy fries
That's
is my
not a
favorite
Lumpy
Ace
fries
Attorney
should be that
defendant.
long.
I was gonna say, that's not a type of fry that I want to eat or look at, actually.
Look at. It hurts you the more you look at it.
Yes.
Because I could ask for help from the Bobby on duty.
So we said this could have potentially been insurance fraud. Yes. I don't think they could have. Like, do you guys think they could have been involved?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. This is Ace
Yeah,
Attorney.
probably.
Anything is possible. It's
Oh my
so
God.
violent every
God.
time.
Just snap his neck.
Wait, hold up. I think it might be insurance fraud or at least some sort of scam because literally they already established earlier in this testimony that a cop saying something is supposed to hold weight, right? It's supposed to be really honest and true. So what if she keeps this guy around and he's so sleepy that anything she says he'll just agree to?
They'll be like, yeah. Oh yeah, what it says right there. We've cracked the
There was
code.
nothing in that. There's nothing like
But
the.
they
Oh,
are
oh, we
married,
just had to press
so
everything.
Why would she marry him if that's the case?
Alibi.
A
Yeah,
slam.
alibi.
This is lamb.
Slam. To
Come
continue
on,
the
slam.
slam.
Everyone's got an itch.
And welcome to the channel.
Most people have an itch. Well, she's
This is very indicative of what I just said.
Nah,
this
what are you
is-
talking about?
There's not a lot of
The
subtlety
last-
here.
The last woman slaps her husband. This one just manipulates his body while he's unconscious. Dang. all these are
Women,
very-
am I right, guys? Uh-huh.
And then Shu Takumi agreed with Zach. they high five.
agreed with. Woo! Isn't he married?
Cancelled.
And
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
sometimes.
Oh man.
Oh my god!
This music is
I like
fun,
this music.
though.
It's so good.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
She's clipping through herself twice.
Ah, what are you talking
You
about?
don't?
You don't.
listen, everyone can have a little bit of clipping through themselves as a treat.
Yeah, it's a treat. Is that what the kids are calling it these days? Oh, dude,
never-
I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm late. I was clipping.
Yeah.
You never accidentally
stuff in
just
the
clipped
ground.
through your cutlery while you were eating a steak a little bit because it was misaligned. and
It was
floated slightly?
misaligned with your hand.
Alive.
It was
You-
misaligned with your hand and it floated slightly. How embarrassing.
Oh man, that would be a much funnier version of Free Guy than what they ended up making. Of just like all of the video game glitches and fuck ups that video game nerds are familiar with.
Well, they would have to hire actual video game consultants for that joke.
I know, and that's why it hurts.
Oh, this is it. I think this is it.
Also, it's 3.
I could even tell you the name of the
Also,
four
but
books.
that's also.
we have a
that's
receipt,
also-
right? Do we have the
Yeah, so I'm
receipt
just
for
gonna
the 3
present
books?
the receipt because you're lying, bitch.
But then you're gonna get a penalty because you didn't press.
The
Who
music
are you,
part.
Or
Jello?
not. Yes.
Okay.
Delicious.
Somebody, what's it yearnings, the meal for someone, and Thingummy something. Thanks! This is exactly what you said.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
Fundamental flaw with the statement of yours, he only bought
Okay, great.
3. I mean, one of them could have been Olive Green's books.
Or it could have been stowed in his fat cloak.
But they specifically said he threw the books.
What if it was their
Like,
did
ni-
draw
like
all
Ninja
of it.
Stars.
Yeah.
But they hid books in their clothes so they wouldn't, get hurt.
That
What if
she's
the
not
book-
actually that fat. She just
What-
stole a bunch of books.
What if
Yeah.
she had like a
I
book
will
harness
never-
on her back so that
Wait
they
a
might
mi-
stab the
wait a
thief at the
minute.
book?
Hold up. Could you imagine if that's why she's fine? Like, she isn't that fat. She did just steal a fuck ton of books, and the knife is in a
It's
book.
stuck in a book. Wow.
Wow.
Stole that from
That
the
would
show I
be
saw.
nutty.
What if they were fighting like ninjas and she defended herself via book?
But she defended
Via
herself
book.
with her with her back.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
To
That's my
catch knives with my heart.
that's my favorite. That's my favorite font, Bookman back style.
Next.
My favorite font is Alconia. it's not actually. It's just the only one I could think of.
I
that's
went
Not
I went there
boring.
on vacation once. They have really nice beaches.
Oh yeah, well one time I went to Florida and I didn't even see a single alligator. I didn't.
They definitely saw you.
Didn't you?
Especially none of the mind erasing ones.
Mind erasing alligator. That's really scary.
Oh no.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've always been missing an arm.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh, she yells loud.
Objection!
Objection! You can't say that to a British citizen.
Shut the fuck up, please! I'm begging you. Let me win.
Let me, please.
You could literally replace any Ace Attorney prosecutor, and that statement would still make just as much sense.
Dude, radical.
What do you mean? What cannot be
Radical, what'd you
denied?
say?
Hmm. So this is quite
We're
interesting because I
didn't.
know that previously with previous prosecutors, I've complained about how they'll just hide evidence or fuck with evidence or make witnesses lie if you're Von Karma, for example. But Van Zeeks is really interesting because every time we go to make a point and start making progress to unravel the story, he keeps bringing us back to center, being like, hey, that's really cool what you just did, but it doesn't actually matter. And it's like, yeah, he's kind of right.
He's a lawyer. He's a real lawyer.
That's what I'm
Wait a
saying.
minute, but
He's a real lawyer, whereas Edgeworth Von Karma and Von Karma 2 are not. Well, I mean they
He's
are,
Von
but they're
Karma
like
2,
but they're like
Electric
evil. They're
Boogaloo.
like cartoonish.
My god, that must be the best lore I've ever seen.
Oh, I love that pirate meme. Huh?
Can you drink in court? Have you seen this guy? Are you gonna stop him?
That is true.
He's got a
He may
sword.
be-
I don't know if
He
you've seen
may
it, but
be
he's got a
1,000
blade.
years old, and that may not be alcohol.
Maybe. he
That might
is
not be
1,000 years
alcohol.
old.
It has a Grim Reaper on the bottle. I don't know.
That's-
Well, I don't know.
has-
I've never seen him until now. I'm just saying, Lord Van Zeeks looks like the kind of guy that if you reached out and touched his hand, you would instantly have a heart attack and die. So I
looks
won't
sl-
fuck with him. That's my
He
my
look-
recommendation.
He looks like the kind of guy who really hates garlic and mirrors.
And he also has a
crosses.
compulsion to count things.
1, 2,
3.
3
Let me explain with the
murders.
toast.
I actually thought for a second he was gonna pull out some bread. I don't know why.
And you dip it in the wine.
And her entirely accurate
Wine
testimony.
flavored bread.
Well, I mean, technically, what she said is correct, but maybe some facts are wrong. Come on, the picture only has 3 books, though.
Oh, it's because the other what if the other book is on the other side of her because she's so fat?
Oh my god!
Mike just kind of broke when you said that.
She might as well be a Disney princess. She's so fat.
Oh, by the way, Zach, it wouldn't have mattered for the hair because she's wearing a hat.
In the picture, is that true?
Yeah, she's wearing a hat in the picture.
There you go. What the
Oh
fuck?
my god.
I keep forgetting he does it.
Jesus.
Oh, she did have a book, but she's holding it.
What? This is a
She was
This
mid
is
throw on that one.
important evidence.
Wait,
took a bite out of
tried
it.
No, I think it's a burn.
Pride.
No, she
Oh.
wanted.
What is that
she was
book?
hungry.
What is that book titled? The
He
something.
was hungry.
The Lion's Pride.
The Lion's Pride. Interesting.
The Lion's Pride Parade.
Thank you for the follow, by the way, ouchie butt. I appreciate it.
Damn it.
Let's
The
go.
4th book.
But isn't that her book? It's not his book.
It's in her hand, so yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know.
No. Well, we're dead.
He
Yeah.
killed us.
It's like just because what he said is technically correct, there are 4 books. Like already we can see that. Well, this doesn't make what you're saying correct because that seems like her book, not his. Like, it already feels like, well, I may be wrong, but you're also not right, sir.
Well, because I think his point isn't that, because his point is just to prove that the witnesses are still accurate in their testimony. In theory, it's irrelevant whether or not they understand, like the witnesses understand that it's not his book. Like that, like
His
that's
point
kind of
is
what
at
that's
the
kind
end
of
of
what
the
he's
sword.
arguing, is that it's not really
So we
important.
have to just, like, so it's unfortunate. So we can't, like, you know, make a claim about the entirety of the case. We're just here to refute these people.
Correct. As in typical Ace Attorney fashion, we have to take this bit by bit, and Van Zieks is really good at taking all the bits that we make and throwing them in the fucking garbage.
Oh, yikes.
True.
Twitch bits.
A meal for Gabbro?
Gabbro!
Gabbro!
Good old Gabbro.
That sounds like it would be what Gibble says or Gabite says in the Pokemon anime.
Yeah, bro.
Gabbro.
This gentleman paid me a compliment. Flawless, sir. Patricia is flawless.
Foolish.
Cheese.
Beautiful.
Cheese, Gromit. Cheese.
Cheese, girl.
Roman. That's his voice from now on.
Well, but Sama's
do you
doing him, so I can't.
Yeah,
so
Sama, you can do that, can't you? Cheese, Gromit.
Cheese, Grobbit.
There you go. Good, perfect.
You sound like a little kid doing a
Yes, sir.
Wallace and Gromit impression.
I'm here to get some cheese.
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 This is true.
Why would the fourth book?
be omitted?
Because it's not his, as we've established. Yeah.
Is this gonna make the whole
Okay, I
fire
guess
bit from the other
no.
place consequential?
Yes.
Who knows?
That's my theory.
Oh.
Because
Did she
the place
steal a
that
book
was
from him?
the place that was burned in their apartment, the landlord's apartment, it was part bookshelf.
Right.
Mm.
So once again, I believe that this lady, like just to reestablish what I think, I don't think that this lady's actual name is Olive Green.
Olive Green.
I
yeah.
believe Olive Green is like a former tenant or whatever, and their name was in this book that she stole, and that this lady is the one who, because remember there was like a weird affair
With the
that
calling
didn't.
card?
Yeah, with the little card that was in the landlord's book. I believe this is that lady, but once again, it's not evidence, so I can't refer back to it. Present the evidence.
I don't feel like it.
Because, like, the whole... Like, it's true that you're allowed to withhold evidence if it would... Like, you're only allowed to withhold evidence if it won't hurt your position.
If you're cool.
Like if
you're cool.
if it's evident if it's evidence that helps your position, you can withhold that if you want. Like, that's your choice as the prosecutor. If it hurts your position, you have to present it. It doesn't make any
What if I
sense
don't feel
otherwise.
like it?
Oh,
I'm getting upset.
Well, unfortunately,
grace,
Zach,
yeah.
the laws were not made by a game designer. They were made by Shu Takumi. So, bring
Well,
it
he
up with
can.
him.
Well, just like his name, he's gonna take my foot up his ass because I'm sick of it.
Do you like the subtle dig that Shu Takumi's not actually a game designer?
That is a little brutal. Shudakumi's good though. Well, more for the most part.
I was joking.
Wait,
but
why
yeah.
is it? Oh, there it is. It is burnt. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. The book has a rash.
If your rashes look like that, Adrian, you need to go to a fucking doctor.
Immediately, presumably, please.
Because that's not a rash. That's called necrosis.
Something
I think
is
it's
dying.
old.
You know, that would explain the smell.
Oh, oh.
Jesus. You freaking damage to Zach.
Oh, gotta give him a second.
Because
He's
I
recovering.
made the joke But then Adrian gave a detail, and suddenly my mind was flooded with the idea of Adrian having this giant, gaping, necrotic wound on his arm, and just being like,
loaded the gun and handed it to him.
Exactly. I fucking Aikido'd that all over you. I redirected your energy.
I can't fucking believe it. I'm so upset. All right.
Okay, so maybe this book is important. I'm thinking that's the thing.
I was hoping
maybe
that
this
we
book...
could open this, but
Oh, I was just about to say maybe the book is hiding
The
something.
book is too
inside.
burnt to open.
I can't.
If
Yeah,
you
I
touch
can't
it, you
open
catch
it.
on fire. You suddenly
Oh.
hear the roar of 1,000 lions.
in the form of a jet engine.
Who would win, 1 trillion lions
Oh, wait a
or
minute,
the
you've
sun?
heard of this?
I really like
lions.
I really like that stupid ass thought experiment of who would win, a trillion lions or the sun, because a trillion lions still isn't even remotely as dense or large as the sun, but then people being like,
Yeah, but who do you think that it could probably take them? What if it had 2 trillion?
2 trillion.
What if it had 2
like,
trillion
it's like-
lions?
it's essentially the equivalent of fighting the zombie apocalypse, right? Because every lion that goes to then try to fight the sun will only burn up and fuel the sun, making it stronger.
Oh my
No,
gosh,
but
we're
like
gonna go on a huge tangent.
all
for
of them at the
this.
same time.
Oh,
Oh,
I
God.
don't think. I
They're
think
not
you're
going one by
underestimating.
one.
yeah,
Lions
they go
are
in a
pack
formation.
animals, Zach. Every animal,
Yeah.
every additional lion.
It's
This
the
is the
world's
biggest
largest
pack
pack
ever.
of lions. There
It's
are
a
2
pride.
trillion.
It's called a pride, by the way.
Good for them.
Correct.
Good for them.
By the way, to redirect back to the game,
Listen, I
apparently the
don't
book's title is
partake in
very
the lifestyle,
familiar.
but that's not. If they want to partake, that's fine by me. It's their personal decision.
Yeah.
Partake.
I
The
think 2
lions are
trillion
doing weed.
lions.
It is
You
legal.
partake.
Well,
Snoop
yeah,
Lion?
Is weed legal in space?
I don't think it's illegal
Are there
in space, so
rules
I
in
guess that
space?
counts.
That's
There
the
are no
question.
rules in space.
There are no rules in space.
It's all just anarchy and madness.
But yeah, but apparently, Zach, we are both. The book's title is quite recognizable. I don't know from where though. Did we see that book before?
I don't know if
Zach,
I
there's
don't
no rules
know
in
if
space.
it's.
They can throw elbows too.
Wait, Zach. I
Oh,
mean,
dude.
there was a lion statue in the apartment.
There was a lion
They
statue in the
could fight the
apartment,
sun when it's
and
nighttime.
what do you
Does
call
that
it?
count? Does that count as one of them? Another one for the horde?
Another
the
one for
horde.
the horde.
I don't know. Should
Yeah,
I
I'm
raise an
pretty sure,
objection to
like,
this, or should I
we
wait
did.
and see? Because wait and see seems interesting.
Wait and
What
see
did they-
seems like a coward's option.
All right.
No, but what was just that? Oh god. Oh, yikes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not done yet. Yes, you are. Shoots me.
Shoot you with a
Sucks to
sword
fly.
blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, sucks to suck.
You didn't have a sword gun.
I do honestly. I would hate it if someone was just like, "Nope, the conversation's over," and I would be like, "You are insufferable. I'm walking away from you and
Oh,
never speaking
God.
to you again."
If I had a nickel for every time that's happened to me, I'd have a handful of nickels that I could probably buy like a gumball with at a machine.
Do you like gumballs?
They're okay.
I was gonna be like, well, Adrian, the conversation's over, so anyways, moving on.
I was gonna do the same thing with Saba.
Oh.
Let's go.
Oh,
Lawrence.
we're defending her honor. I don't know if you guys read that, but that was actually really endearing.
What happened?
Yeah.
Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed for such a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Susato goes, "Oh, we wait and we defend. I am to shame. I am still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you'll have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable."
Yay!
Get fucking stuffed, you Van Zeeks. What a guiding
you
principle
talking-
is tolerance? What are you talking about? Do you tolerate
There's
like does your
nothing but racism in this
tolerance
court.
end when it comes to somebody's shitty accent? Like I don't understand. Like, oh, this tea's a little weird.
You see, we are greatly tolerant towards the Japanese, less so towards the Scottish, who we annihilate with our British laser vision.
British laser vision. Patricia's like, you called?
Okay, what is she gonna say?
Dude, that'd be so sick if she ended up being the lawyer. Well, the court has presented with new evidence, but only after the last rustling was finished.
Okay, I
And
don't
you
know
believe
enough
that this
about
new
law.
evidence warrants further examination? Yes, obviously.
We back up our assistant.
Yeah. If I don't back her up, she's gonna flip me over.
Yeah.
But then maybe you'll
fucking
forget about
rough.
this whole ordeal.
To examine
Yeah,
the...
this is
We
is
already
too
did
much
this
of a
game!
thing, yeah.
We played 3 Ace
Possible.
Attorney games. We know how this works.
Impossible, that's not how it works.
But this
you
is
need to
back
know
in the
what-
past. Yeah, clearly you're gonna
Samurai
you're
Jack.
gonna-
I almost bought a DVD box set of Samurai Jack while I was back in New England.
What stopped you?
Money.
Oh, okay.
Like, because I knew I was going to be
Yeah.
pre-ordering Brilliant Diamond and Metroid Dread, so...
You couldn't.
Okay, so the book. Okay.
The evidence in question is, we can see a newly photographed scene, it's the book, because there's a fire and we know about the upstairs situation, whereas other people might not.
And we didn't start the fire.
Why
Bill-
are you
Yeah.
mad, sir? Huh?
Because he's racist.
Oh.
Correct.
He just doesn't like us getting the upper hand. You stop wasting my time. Everything that you've said has been a waste, sir.
Susato, calm down.
You tried to slander my name. I will not stand for it.
That's true. You can't slander my assistant's name. Only I can do that when I'm frustrated.
Oh my god.
I get enough of it from him, not from you two.
I get enough from him.
Why do you think why are you expecting cordiality from me? I hate you. I hate both of you.
Very much.
Very much, yes.
Why am I even here? Just
Why
to
were you-
suffer.
All right,
okay,
it's my
this is
job.
obvious. It's in the back. We got this.
Because we're gods.
We have eyes.
Oh, Jay,
We have
I am a god.
That rings a bell. Got it!
Got it.
Okay.
How absolutely British of
Good
us.
gracious! It's burned! How did no one notice that? It's almost like the prosecution specifically angled the book so no one could see it.
No, that couldn't be it.
Yeah. It's Lord Van Zeeks. He's a reputable lawyer.
Yeah, they are the law, so obviously they have to uphold it, and you know.
He's totally not gonna suck our blood if we say anything.
The law is inherently looking after the people's values. Why else would it exist?
Man, I'm gonna be really upset one after this, because you remember how after the last one we won and then the guy still died in a fire in the carriage that led to his release? I can't wait until after this we win. Joseki goes back to his room to collect all of the books so he can
And he
return back to
dies.
Japan. Yeah, and then he like gets crushed under his own books.
Oh my god.
What if we die? And there is no fifth case.
There is no fifth case, but there's a second game that stars us.
Mm.
We got better.
We got better.
Healthcare and hospitals and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that British healthcare and their British health.
British healthcare.
They're British health mages. They
Yeah.
they don't call them white mages for nothing. There's some
The health
nerd-
mages are good, but they're dental mages.
I'm gonna
Some
say
work.
its owner.
Yeah, we think its owner is the people from at the top.
The landlord, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, hang on. Let me check something real quick. if I'm thinking correctly. Oh shit. Man, never mind. I was gonna say, I thought that we had the right number for our stream to make up an entire jury in game. We don't. It's 6 people.
Darn it.
Dang.
Oh, we're close.
We're close, but no dice.
Quick, someone message Theta. Which I guess would have to be me. But wait, then who would be the judge?
God.
Everyone.
Stream.
God.
We actually need 9
God.
people.
It'd be Shu Takumi.
Somewhere.
Does it matter if you choose him or his wife? Maid?
Technically him, because as far as anybody else know, his wife is a maid.
His wife is a maid.
Ooh!
The
Did you
spin.
see that
Spin.
double spin? That was sick.
We did. The camera countered spun to us.
It did the golden
Man.
spiral.
Yeah.
Oh my god, infinite energy.
Yeah. That's how we got enough energy to point at Van Zeke, so otherwise we would have
Because our
exploded on
hand
the spot.
has an
Otherwise we would have
infinite amount of
exploded on the
mass
spot.
and is massively heavy.
That's an incredible stand power. If anybody points at you, they immediately explode and die. None of
But the
them
person who
scared
asked
of
that stand
herself.
is stupid.
Dude, that would stop
Fish-
Jotaro from doing anything. 'Cause he
Fishling.
points all the time, doesn't he?
That's true.
So give it to someone who's really dumb, so that they don't know how to use it.
Actually, slight tangent, and then because we made a lot of progress, and we're gonna keep making progress. But I do want to make a slight tangent real quick. Saba and or Grant, I don't remember if you played Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, or whatever, but
Yeah.
did you guys get to the point where you can, if you go past Pacificlog Town, you can go to the abandoned ship?
I
Yeah.
have not gone.
Yeah, I did.
there.
Okay, so
I
you're
have
so,
not.
so 2 of you are aware, and I guess this will be informing Saba and Lawrence as well. But so in the original Gen 3 games, it was just an abandoned cruise ship, right? And essentially the whole point of that mini dungeon, it was optional, excuse me, was to get some money for beating trainers. I believe the TM for Ice Beam was in there. And then at the very
Yes.
bottom, you got a Leftovers, which is like a really powerful held item that heals you every turn. That's still its function in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. However, someone on that team must have had a really brilliant idea, because they reworked the abandoned ship. Instead of it just being like some random ship, it's a like I don't remember, I don't know how to describe it. It's a ship that was designed to strip the ocean of resources so that way they could make metals and generate electricity, and it was fucking obliterating the local environment. And it's like you can read posters and notebooks and stuff like that are all throughout the ship, and it's all propaganda from the company that owned the ship, saying like, essentially telling you to work yourself to death because that's your obligation as a citizen of the Hoenn region. And the whole thing is that it's the SS Mauville, that town that has the like happy-go-lucky like elderly gym leader. It's that town. That
What?
town in Hoenn had this gigantic ship that was going to obliterate the local environment. And the only reason that they stopped using it, it wasn't because of social outcry. It wasn't because it like was damaging the environment. Literally, a competitive company, i.e. the Devon Corp, invented infinite energy, and you just didn't need the ship anymore, so they just sank it.
Infinite energy.
Wow.
And I
I
like
mean-
and I was watching the 7-hour review where he had a section where he talked about this, and I'm like, that's incredible storytelling. And apparently that's where Team Aqua and Team Magma came from, because the reason why the ship sank instead of being decommissioned was because Archie and Maxie both worked on that ship and worked together to sink the ship.
Oh wow.
And it's
I
like,
mean, it makes sense given New Mauville existing.
which is also a lot smaller than it was in the original, which is very upsetting. But it's like, it's one of those things that's kind of bonkers to me, the idea of it being like, oh yeah, here's this really overt criticism of modern capitalistic tendencies in my Pokemon game.
In my Pokemon game, it's more likely than you might think.
Bitch, you can't do, we already proved this.
Even if you are his maid, you still have relation to the person we are talking
You
about.
are still legally married to the
No.
person.
Legally, also that. There is a legal binding.
You have paperwork.
Impossible. No way. Prove it.
There is governmental paperwork that must be signed when you get married.
Do it. You won't.
No, you won't. You can't tell me what to do.
Have you seen that from the Spider-Man dub, Grant?
I don't think so.
So you know the guys that did the Sonic 06 live dub?
Oh yeah, Snapcube.
Yeah, they did.
Oh
they did.
yeah, the PS4 Spider-Man. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Do you know the scene at the end where Aunt May is like, "Do it, you won't."
You won't.
Do you
Hey
think,
Peter, mind if I ask you a question?
Zach, do you think she's
Let me ask you a
like the
personal
wife stabbed the other lady?
I don't know how she would be able to, since Garradeb said that she was standing next to him, like beating the shit out of him. Because remember, the whole reason why the fire started was that she was destroying everything and knocked a candle to the floor. So I have no idea how a burned book at the exact same time could have made it out the window and into that lady's hand, and then she gets stabbed. Like, I don't know how that could possibly
Well,
happen.
I thought she may have been in the room and
With
like
them?
maybe with them. She may have been here.
But the fire, but the thing is that the stabbing took place at 5 p.m. and the fire also took place at 5 p.m. At least that's my understanding of how it worked. It wasn't before, it wasn't after, because this is an Ace Attorney game where everything in an entire case happens at the exact same fucking time. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I hear what you're saying, and I definitely agree that this maid clearly has something to do with it. I have no idea what though. Like, could you imagine if Olive Green, the maid, and then Patricia Beat are all in on like some scam?
No.
No.
Oh, look at his face!
Oh my God, he's doing he's doing the like.
He's doing the deal
can't-
pose.
Yeah, like.
Holy
I was
crap,
gonna
he
say,
is doing a deal pose.
He's doing the rock you can't see me pose.
You mean John Cena?
John Cena.
Sorry, John Cena, my bad. I get my giant muscular wrestlers confused sometimes.
Can you smell what John Cena is cooking?
When you smell what he's seeing, you can't see what he's smelling. I'm having a stroke.
Oh, I just
Somebody,
rewatched the
please.
Bongilin stroke.
Somebody,
Yeah.
please get out there and help Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold Steve.
It's like we're just taking a bunch of them, mixing them together.
Oh boy.
Oh my God, the steel chair.
Oh god.
The Undertaker.
This is an absolute slobber knocker. A word that fucking what's his face invented in that moment because he meant to say something else.
Perfect.
It'd be like that. Just invent a word.
Now I'm
just
just
do it.
thinking. Now I'm just. Oh yeah, it was just straight up a bookshelf. There you go. But now I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, absolute slobber knocker. Just saying it. You gotta put as much Nixon on it as you possibly can.
You gotta put a little stank on it, you know what I'm saying?
Jowl.
It's a little stank on it, you know?
A little bit of stink.
A little bit of snake on it.
Thing.
The slinky
snake.
stank.
He was getting burning books thrown at him.
Sometimes it
Holy
happens.
sh!
Sometimes it happens.
You mean you don't dodge flaming books every now and then?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That is.
It didn't need to be broken. It could just be open. Oh. Manix is so pissed. Oh my god. Let us not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. Hey Grant, hey Grant, do you remember the copy pasta that I told you about of God's 3 mistakes?
Yeah.
Can you try to recite it? Because I can never remember the first one.
No, I don't. I just remember the punchline. Let me see if I can find it.
See if you can find it. If not, I'll try to make it up on the fly and just have the same punchline.
God's 3 mistakes. Copy pasta.
That's enough. Is it? Oh, it's her. You little foreign trickster. Notice how they all have to mention that he's foreign.
Yeah, how else would you know?
They're searching for adjectives, and all of them escape their minds when they look at them.
Well, I'm sure that they can think of a lot of them. But maybe they can't say them in public.
No.
Oh, I can't find it.
Oh, you can't find it?
No.
I can't remember how it begins. I remember how it ends, but I can't remember how it begins.
Well, just
Maybe
say the
it's on a-
punchline, and I'm sure it'll still land without the setup.
No. It's like the copy pasta, because it came from like a video game or a movie or something like that, and it's essentially
I found it in our DMs.
Holy crap, you did?
Yeah.
All right.
I just
do you want
searched.
to read it in a funny voice, or do you want to send it to me and I'll do it?
You literally put it in italics in an old Scottish man voice.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you want to do it or do you want me to try it?
You have fun, man. You do it.
All right. Listen, boyo, let me tell you God's 3 mistakes. 1, letting Lucifer get away. 2, putting Adam and Eve within eyesight of each other. And 3, invading Russia in winter. And that just says cheers erupts.
Yeah. I just like my favorite part of the copy pasta, because I do remember now that it was like you're supposed to say it in a Scottish accent. Why would he be saying that to a group of Scottish men about invading Russia in the winter? It's like,
And then applause breaks out.
Yeah.
I just really like, man, those are, I really like those. They're just like letting Lucifer get away, putting Adam and Eve within eyesight of each other, and attacking Russia in the winter. Yeah. Shut. That's a good reaction image. What font is that?
Oh, I don't know. I kind of just chose whatever was already on.
Lawrence just has a roulette of really epic fonts in Photoshop.
Lawrence has a custom font he
Just
made
like
himself.
spit it and then go, all right, which
Lawrence-
font is gonna come out?
Lawrence has like a guy with like a big iron collar and a chain leash that he just like forces to make fonts for him. Yeah. It's like a scrawny golem character with a
Oh!
big beard.
He's so
There's the
pissed he
song.
did it.
I wish I could do that.
You can't
I
put
used
your
to be
you
able to
can't
do
put your
that.
foot up on the table.
Absolutely
No, and
not.
keep like my body straight while like
Oh, while
While
doing it.
drinking
Okay.
wine.
while
Yeah.
I'm just not
drinking
flexible.
wine.
I tested it the other day for no particular reason, but from a standing position,
For no
I can
particular reason.
I can actually get from a standing position, I can get my foot like 90% up a door, which was really cool.
Nice.
I tested it for nobody, but I can get both my feet from a standing position onto a table.
Guilty.
We're not doing
this
this again.
It's just me standing on a table. That's his voice? Guilty. I'm buff and I'm got huge forearms and I'm very
Are we really gonna have to do this shit again?
twice in one case? Hell yeah,
Fire
dude.
the fireballs.
It's twice now. Obviously, it'd be Miss Susato.
No, it's your good old friend. The guy, I can't
Ancient
remember his
Maya.
name.
Ancient Maya.
Good old so and so.
Good old so and so with the red headband.
Kazuma?
There you go.
Kiryu?
Kiryu? Going to
Uria.
he's going to extort local businessmen for money.
Nice.
This is no time to be downcast.
Watch me.
Downcast would be a good name for a podcast about the weather.
Hi
That would
guys,
be
welcome
good.
to the
No, actually,
Downcast.
that's stupid. It should be forecast.
But it has to have
now
4
what do we
people
do
on
with
it.
Downcast?
And it does have to
Yeah.
have 4 people on it. You are correct.
I made the posters and everything. Now what?
They have to change it. Here, use this font.
Yeah, this is not good for us.
Wait, they have the same scarf.
Yeah, it's one scarf that ties the two of them together.
One scarf.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. I mentioned it the first time we saw it.
Yeah.
I mentioned it the first time we
Well,
saw it because it was really suspicious that both scars were made of the exact same material.
And
Well,
then I
because like
said
when
it
you guys
again
said it was the
afterwards,
same
it was actually-
scarf, I
yeah.
thought you're like, oh, the one with the same design. Yeah, I can
No,
see that.
one scarf. One
I
scarf.
didn't realize you guys meant un scarf.
That's an enormous scarf.
Long scarf. Long scarf.
Long scarf for a long slam.
Oh yeah, and we're doing
Lord.
we're doing it again. Man, we can really just
Yay.
do this multiple. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but the accused left behind evidence of the scene, didn't he? Those 3
Do it
books of
again.
his.
Run
If
it
there
back.
was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might consider. We should probably press that. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to the crime if the window was closed. That's a good point. Deary me, it was only one little book, hardly life-threatening, even with. Who are you? Are you the predecessor of fucking Francisca? Where it's
Maybe.
like, who cares?
He's not German.
She could be.
She's not. She's also not German. She moved to
We could
Germany.
make her German.
If she wanted to be really hard.
I'll remind you. Well, never mind.
Wait,
I
are
just
you
wanna
saying
get
the
this
guy
on-
von Karmo is not German?
Yeah, von Karma's not German.
Lies.
Con Varma, on the other hand.
Von Varma is definitely German, but I'm about to
Yeah.
say I'm pretty sure isn't despite having the last name von Karma, I'm pretty sure he's just American, isn't he? Because Edgeworth
idea.
pretends to be British because he has a complex, and then Francisca moved to Germany because she's a Nazi.
Oh,
my
Jesus
God.
Christ.
Wow.
I hate Francisca.
I mean, not only did you attack her, you attacked all of Germany.
Well, you know, it's gonna be a couple hundred years until they get to live it down. So
You're getting your kicks in while you can.
yeah. I plan on being here for the entire duration on which I can feel morally obligated to shit on Germany.
Damn.
Oh my god.
Well, we found Zach's like Captain Fist fight target nation.
Tomfoolery is here to declare war on Germany. That can only go well, by the way. Just ask World War One.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You must accept that it was him fleeing the scene. Do I? Do I have to?
Yes, because I said so.
Somewhat set in stone.
We haven't done Captain Fight Fist in a while.
It hasn't really
There's
been
been
an
no
opportunity.
reason to.
Yeah, I know.
What do you want to just
But I think
break
we-
into RadioCast right now and just
No,
ignore the game?
I was thinking about it because we still don't have things for Saba and Lawrence.
Correct. They don't have their superhero or villain alter egos yet.
Can Saba? Can your villain alter ego be Misdemeanor?
Oh my gosh.
Misdemeanor would be really good.
Can Lawrence's be fellow knee?
Oh my god. Okay, so it's Dr. Doobad and his arch rival, Dr. Doobad and his assistant Tomfoolery, and their arch rival Captain Fight Fist. But Captain Fight Fist actually wants to defeat the French supervillainess Misdemeanor and her assistant of what'd you give
Just a
Lawrence?
fellow knee.
But fellow need isn't really a name.
It's a,
That being
it's a
said, neither
title
is
and
Dr.
then-
Dubad, but
Yeah.
it's really good. And then Misdemeanor just hates Dr. Dubad because he's stupid, despite being a doctor.
Anyway, that's how I lost my medical license.
No, no.
By attacking Russia in the winter?
No.
Okay. So we have to find how the book could have left without going out the window. Probably.
Teleported.
Oh, we gotta keep an eye on how she reacts. Okay.
Ooh.
Man, I would be absolutely shitting my pants if I was in this situation. I don't know about you guys.
I bet you feel better if you got a sword.
That's true. I don't have a sword.
Yeah.
How many swords
Won't do
can
it.
you? How many swords do you need to feel 100% comfortable in any situation?
As many as you can hold using all the parts of your body.
What, like the guy from One Piece?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one in each hand, one in my mouth, one in the crook of each elbow, and then I'm standing on one foot holding two in between my big toe and my pinky toe, like across the entire thing, and then one in that knee. How many blades is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm
would
coming
be-
after you. They call me the octopus.
If that, if Zach has 7 blades stored all over his body, and Saba has 3 blades in her house, and they meet up, how many? Never mind.
I was kind of scared where that was going.
I've been working with middle schooler math too much.
Killer Bee, Saba.
Oh yeah, isn't that the Naruto bit where they have a character who has a bunch of swords?
Oh.
He has 8 swords.
Yeah, and
Yes.
he's like.
I'm a
huge.
Naruto character?
You're not. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You, a
You're
Naruto
a
character? It's more
rapper.
likely than you may think. Yeah, you're a rapper from the desert village.
No.
Actually,
the Cloud Village.
oh, is he from the cloud? I thought he was from the Gara place.
No, he's from the Cloud.
Never mind then. I am mistaken.
How dare you?
You see, modern, metropolitan, rational thinking. I'm not I'm not some sort of backwater hick like you. Like, I'm
Oh
from
my
Japan. I'm an educated student from Japan. Yeah, backwater.
No, jeez.
Oh god.
He's overwhelmingly guilty. Overwhelmingly.
Can you be underwhelmingly guilty?
Can you be whelmingly guilty?
Can you be guilty?
Can you whelm?
You can definitely whelm. That's definitely a word.
But would you?
Alright, one mystery down.
One mystery down, more to go.
If you had to whelm, would you?
Every day. I wake up and whelm.
Wow.
Can I? Maybe I should save this for a bit. Never mind. I was about to bring up a topic, but it's about Pokemon again, and I was like, maybe I should focus on what's happening right now.
As we're trying very, hard to get our client a.
I'm desperately
Fucking-
trying to finish this within the next hour and 20 minutes, so that way Saba won't be upset when we start Metroid Dread next week.
Judge, can you give me a second? All right, so, so in Pokemon,
So you see, the thing about normal types, Judge.
Look, Judge,
stupid!
listen, Judge.
They're used way too much. I had half a fucking mind to put that in the comments of the 7-hour review video, a video from fucking 3 years ago, because he brings up the fact that the most common Pokemon type is water, and I was like, did you know that the second most common type is normal? Because that makes sense.
Hey Zach, how about we try to be positive? What are Pokemon you think do fit being a normal type?
There's a lot actually. If either Sabo or Grant want to bring up the the file that we made, the document that we made, there's a lot of Pokemon that make sense to be normal types.
Me.
Yes, Grant.
Okay,
I
great.
took my normal
So
pills today.
never mind. I guess you're not gonna get an actual answer. I'll give you a really quick one in the form of Snorlax is definitely a normal type, but he's normal
Did she
fairy.
just slap the guy to the right?
She keeps slapping him. Yes, by the way, it's almost like she's a violent person.
But only with her ring hand.
Oh my god.
I mean, to
See,
be fair, this guy looks like he could take it
I
better
would-
than Mr. Garadeb.
it
True.
doesn't matter. You should
He
not
looks
commit
like-
violence upon anyone.
What would
He
have been
looks like
funny
he's
and
2 slaps
comedic?
away
Then
from
he can
destroying
slap
her.
back.
How can she slap?
How can she slap?
How?
Look, I just want to get this over with. I keep getting smacked by that lady to my right.
Incredible.
Well, him and me both. Like I said before. Yeah. Fucking Jesus. My missus isn't one to mess about. She'll whack me with her ring finger.
Yeah, no, he could be like, no, it's
Just the
fine,
finger,
it
not the hand, the
creates me-
finger.
It just gives me flashbacks of what my wife does.
Oh god.
It's like what my wife does, but only 1/10 with the strength and muscle.
Oh my god.
Never mind, apparently it was so bad that he's blocked it out.
Oh no.
I wonder
Shame.
if Mr. Beat will ever be dragged into the Thames by a scarf.
Probably. And then when he falls
There
in,
must
the
be some
scarf
way to
will, like,
jog his
absorb so much
memory.
water.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like concrete shoes.
Weird.
The sneezes.
Hold it! Mmm, sneezes.
I don't think people like sneezing.
You can have a good sneeze. Sneezing is typically very unpleasant, I agree, but there have been occasions where I'm like, ah, dude, a sneeze, thank God.
What's the longest sneeze chain you ever had?
Where you just go like, achoo, achoo, achoo,
Maybe
achoo.
3, 4? I think 3. I don't go to like multiple ones. But if I do, it's usually just 2 in a row.
Aw, look at this guy's face again.
It was an angel cake to celebrate his birthday. Gosh.
I would
We
say
forgot
that
to
my
do something,
I would
guys.
say that my longest sneezing chain would probably be about like 5 or 6. Mostly
There
just
are those people that
just
rapid
because
fire.
I've kept it going before. It's fun.
It's
You're
fun.
weird.
What about you, Grant?
I think like 3 or 4.
Lawrence?
Like a 5 when I'm sick.
Oh damn.
One time I was stayed home sick from high school, and I woke up at like 3 a.m. in the middle of a dream because I
Oh!
sneezed, and then I kept sneezing so many times that my parents came to check on me, and I'd sneezed over like 20 times at 3 a.m. in a
Oh
row,
my god.
and I couldn't
Jesus.
stop sneezing, and it
Jesus.
upset me.
What is it in your nose?
Prophecy.
The prophecy.
I don't know.
We have we have established a reason, by the way, for why the window would be open.
This
We had to
man.
open all the windows.
He was saying that there was a fire and the smoke was filling up the room.
Man, there's so much fire.
It was devil worshipping all along.
Devil.
Okay. Man, this game's really good. I almost wish that I almost wish we could get like a remaster of Ace Attorney 1, 2, and 3, but it was this style. Where
That'd be
there's like
cool.
actual shit to do instead of just like following a linear path, I guess.
Do you think like next case all the jurors will be like previous witnesses?
Say that one more time?
Would be...
I said, do you think like next case all the jurors will be previous witnesses?
I was thinking, or maybe at least
That'd be
one of
neat.
them.
At least one of them. For sure, at least one of them.
So do you think I could pit this guy against
Damon.
Old Man because the old man gave an explanation as to why the window would be open.
Sure.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Similar topics.
Adrian was surprised, evidently, by my assertion.
Ooh,
Ooh, that could be neat.
Ooh,
Oh, the music cut,
you.
so I think it's good. Don't point at you. Mm?
What was that? I don't hear so good because I'm old and adorable.
Old and adorable.
Everyone knows that cuteness subtracts directly from your ability to hear. That's why Saba can't hear anything whenever she's voicing what's-her-face.
Look at he came to the
Oh,
conclusion as we were establishing it. Isn't that neat?
Hey.
Oh. Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, in this part of the country, entirely within this house, there was a fire in the Garadev household. And
May I
Mr.
see
Garadev
it?
had the following to say about it.
No.
The whole place filled with smoke. I don't remember what Grant's voice for him was. It was like this or something, right? I don't remember.
For what?
Please, please.
The moon guy.
The moon guy, yeah, Moon Man.
Oh, it was like this.
Yeah, there you go. It was something like that. Oh!
Jesus.
Wow, that's
We'll
a
just
good
let her-
animation.
We'll just let her
We'll
go.
let her have it.
Woo. 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 Scalding.
Shots,
Woo.
shots,
She
shots.
is-
I keep burning my tongue.
She is definitely.
Go, 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 go.
All right, well, let's pursue. Excuse me. Journal Report, do you have something to say about that? It's Gardeb! What's the meaning of this? I was trying to give myself tea poisoning.
What's the meaning of this? I was scalding my tongue on the burning hot tea.
I think
Can't the lady ruin her tongue in peace?
slight tangent, but that's been a kind of humorous downside of like starting to do my own cooking, is that I'm still not really used to like letting things cool down before eating them, I guess, because for the most part, when I make pasta, the sauce and the cheese and stuff will automatically cool everything down, so I can eat it more or less immediately after straining it. But like yesterday when I started eating the Italian sausage, I immediately put it on my like in my mouth, and I was like, "Oh!" Ooh. Ooh. Man, if I had a time machine, I would go back and I would re-edit that video to skip right to the point where you and I start acting like absolute idiots. Lawrence.
I wish that I could go into the future and then come back with a counter for every time that one of us says a bit or a noise, and then the rest of us repeat it.
would be a long
There's
counter.
too many times.
Whatever number of digits the counter would have, we would need to add more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
There's another one.
There's another one.
Okay. Cool.
Did
So-
we do it?
Yeah, okay. Okay. So that's really important. So do we have someone who cares about whether or not the window is open? Wait, but what?
He didn't even change his mind, actually. Yeah. Maybe bring that up to him.
So pit the two of them? Because she was
Maybe,
like,
I don't know.
we need to prove that someone else stabbed. The accused left behind evidence at the scene. 3 books of his. You know what? Let's pit these two, I guess. I'm gonna point at you.
Fuck it.
Hey, bitch! I'm pointing at you again.
You.
All right, I'm gonna close my eyes and hope that the music stops.
You.
No
That's
music
bad.
stoppment.
I had to eject. That's complete nonsense. Oh fuck! I'm Banker, and I killed Sil.
Killed Cell.
I killed Cell. It was me. I
No.
shattered 15 bricks with my hand, and then I killed Cell.
And I pulled a bus with my teeth.
Okay,
I
Okay.
tore
what
a phone
was-
book in half.
when the
That's true, you did
woman.
do that.
All real things I did in addition to killing Cell.
But it's not a possibility. Like we know.
What do you
This
mean?
is
It's
not a
of course you killed Cell.
contradiction.
Yeah.
I killed Cell.
I definitely killed Cell. It's definitely a possibility. In fact, it's reality.
They named an entire city after me.
Name an
What
entire city.
the-
It was actually a city that Cell destroyed.
Go back.
Kind of
Keep on going back.
fucked up
Because we're missing.
when
like
you
two
think
thirds.
about it.
I just realized we never actually pressed her
Oh.
statement. Her new statement.
You don't need to press my statement about killing Cell. I did it. I killed Cell.
I killed Cell.
Press.
I promise you, I killed Cell.
What would lie?
Like once again, quirky, fun video game. This is Ace Attorney stuff. But holy shit, lady, the whole point of your conviction was like the whole reason that we're here in this particular juror's cross-examination is that the prosecution established that the window was closed, so the book couldn't have been thrown at it. You have just admitted that you're like, oh yeah, it was open, and I did throw it. Cool, we're done. Everybody says otherwise. Like, everybody go back to where we were.
Everybody go home. We're
Everybody go
done.
home.
Case closed.
Because I didn't remember.
Violent woman.
That's his
Oh.
voice. I still hate that that's how high pitched his voice is. He's like saying a huge most like, oh boy, ooh, I can't wait to go to the gym later.
Oh boy. All right, well now it's time for you.
Do they get 3 voice actors on this game?
They had 60 voice actors actually.
Wow.
Oh my.
They just
I
all
do
happen.
remember
They
now.
just all happen to be British, so they sound exactly like one of 2 people.
Great.
Oh my gosh, you just called her a granny.
Who are you calling Granny, you cheeky devil? That's so good.
Or the maid. Not, you can't be both of them at the same time.
Not at all.
Please tell me that he's not used to being hit all the
Aw,
time.
Poor dude, he's just being constantly beat.
There's so many characters here that are just getting beat.
Victims of physical abuse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because
It's
in
been
well,
almost
in all
always the
well, because in
females.
actuality, if we were to have a single character that did this in the other direction, that would be not okay.
Which I don't think is fair. Yeah, you can't just beat someone up in
I
general.
agree. If your wife threatens you in any way, you should be able to suplex her off a 4-story building. Just absolute,
Story, huh?
just absolute fucking, just absolute Izuna drop.
I mean, hey, if you're suplexing your wife off a story, you're also falling off. So that's equality right there.
Exactly. And if anything, I'm a man who values equality.
Men.
Shut up. The blade was
Dude,
whistling past
this-
my ear.
This is not all right. Oh my god. I'm sorry, bro. I think you may die an early death, but not for the reasons you would think.
Not from overworking.
Yeah.
You would die from heartburn.
Yeah, because she
big
bore,
fellow
she poured scalding hot metal over him. It literally
You
burned
mustn't
his
think
heart.
all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. You flipped
Dude.
me like 8 times in the last case.
I was
don't
gonna
know.
say, is
Oh,
the conclusion of this game that Naruto's gonna get red pilled?
What do you mean gonna
gonna-
get? What do you mean
At
gonna
least
get red
attack
pilled?
with honor. She's like, oh, it's fine as long as you just shoot them with a bow.
Naruto's about to fucking start the MGTOW movement.
Oh god.
Oh, I wanted to ask, by the way, have you guys? I might have talked with you guys about this, but have you guys seen? Do you guys remember at Cogswell there was the computer lab? There was a. I looked at the one time the whiteboard in the computer lab, and I saw that someone had wrote MGTOW as the way of life, and there was a little chain of people being like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, shut up! Like MGTOW's awful." And then the guy, and then like later on, I was like, "That's weird." I later saw the guy who wrote that, and was like, "Oh." I forgot that that's the physical person who wrote that.
That was a real
no.
person.
But I will say that I don't think that if you've listened to that guy for any duration of time talk about anything, you would be hard pressed to realize there was the MGTOW guy at Cogswell without describing him. Have any of you guys had run in with the MGTOW guy from Cogswell? Or at least a specific one that's very obviously MGTOW?
I don't even know what
think
you're
I've been
talking
fortunate
about.
enough not to.
You don't know what MGTOW is?
No.
Oh!
Despite
Well,
anything
so-
that you guys might say, I'm not anti-women.
MGTOW is men going their own way, and it's the branch of incels that take pride in not getting any ladies, and say like, you know what, ladies are a distraction. We focus on the grind in our life.
I like the version of that better where people think that not having sex gives you superpowers.
Yeah, it's MGTOW.
At
That's
30,
not the
you
same
become a
thing.
wizard.
They were like the proto version of that.
If you're a virgin by 35, you do become a wizard. That is
I
correct.
thought it was 30, not 35, but okay.
Well,
They upped the
because
bar.
you
It was too
corrected me,
easy
now it's
to-
30.
It's too easy.
Oh,
It was
okay.
too easy.
Well, now
That
that you
patch notes.
now that you
5 years
corrected me, it's
30s.
36.
Ah.
Those
are
5
you
years in your
sure
early
about that,
30s.
Zach?
They're enticing.
37.
Yep, keep going. Are you sure?
15.
Zach, you're just making it harder on yourself.
Harder on myself. You think I want to be a wizard? Also, I can't be a wizard.
I'd like to be a
Dude,
wizard.
wizards
That'd
are
be fun.
cool.
He'd be
I
a
wish I could
warlock.
wizard.
I would be a warlock.
Wait,
What
so
if-
This
They'll become a
person
are
last
we?
person,
Is this
by the
Harry
way,
Potter
Zach?
rules?
We
where-
already
where
tried that, and that's where we
wizards-
lost a health point.
So the juror
this-
number 3 and the old man?
Oh, an old man? This guy? Wait, do we have to do this again?
I don't know.
Because we did cut ourselves off when you talked to the old lady, so I don't know if that didn't finish it.
Because we just got told by the guy to the left that, like, she'll throw something. But, like, hasn't that already been established she threw something?
So what we've done so far is that 4 out of the 5 jurors have since changed their logic, and they're not even making their original statements anymore. Like that, like none of these people are admitting that he's are saying that he's guilty. The only 2 people that haven't had their minds changed are her and I Killed Cell, and I don't know how to get them to change their mind. So in theory, I don't have to. But
I
that
don't
being
think you have to
said,
do the first 2.
but that being said, who the fuck am I gonna pit against each other?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. Like, this said, like, you would have to do it. Like, this is weird. Like, all of them are saying something that coincides. It doesn't contradict.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the phrase of these 2 witnesses contradict each other. It should be more along the line of like, hey, you guys talk to each other for a second.
And yeah, and like what you believe will confirm what the other person believes.
So I don't know
gotta
where to
get
go,
going.
but I only have
Goodbye.
4 health points left, so I can't really experiment either.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, Grant. Thank you
Goodbye.
for being here. The hell is this thing that Grant posted?
British.
British. That's really good. British. All right. Sorry, I'm not focused. I don't know. Does anybody have any ideas? Silence.
I think I said maybe this guy and the old man.
I could try that. That's a suggestion because it worked before, but these are different statements now.
Well, I was gonna say when you saw the old lady, who were you pitting when you saw the old lady react with the fucking like, oh maybe
These
I did
2.
do the thing. Yeah, because I don't think you let that play out. I think you interrupted it by talking to the old lady. So maybe if you let it
I
play
had
out,
to in order to get her statement, but I
Oh.
guess you and Saba might be right. Where if I just pit them again, maybe it'll finish. right?
Yeah.
Because then what I did was I pitted him and the old maid.
Right.
Old
I
maid.
like how you called her old.
I pitted the two of them. Wait, no, I
Isn't-
didn't. I asked her, and then she sprung board off of him. So I think you're
no,
right,
you
actually.
tried to ask her.
Isn't Old
And
Maid like
we
a card
lost
game or
the-
something?
Wait,
sorry.
no.
Oh, fuck.
No, because never mind. I'm so stupid. Because their statements have changed. We have to repress their new statements.
Oh.
That's because that's what we
why.
did with the maid, and then someone else changed their mind, which was the worker guy. So we have to repress. That's the problem.
Old Maid's like a card game, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that where you were chuckling about earlier?
Well, because it's like kinda, and she's also not old. She's like
Oh.
40.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought you were like, hey, that's a card game. Like if
That's
there was
a card game.
if there was a guy.
Oh yeah, see, she's worried again, but we already did it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. This is complex. It's so good though.
Only what?
Will this update his statement and then we can pit him against the muster guy where he's like, woman can throw a thing real far because my wife is bodybuilder like me. That's why I married her.
Window could have. Yeah, see, it didn't change his statement.
Oh, it didn't
So I
change.
think what we're doing is now we press him.
Let's press him a little bit more.
Your wife really threw a kitchen knife, and now someone else should respond to this.
It started with a smile.
And then a pot, then a
Okay.
kettle, then a chair, then a
I'm-
wardrobe, a cooker,
Oh
a
my
bathtub.
God.
Oh my god, what is she? Some sort of
Dude.
eldritch monster?
Flee.
Well,
You
let
will
me say
die.
right now, Zach,
You
if,
will
if,
die.
if her wife can throw a fucking bathtub at him, we have the same taste.
You know
want
what?
to know
Now
what
that
I
you
think?
mention that, good point. That's an interesting theory.
Suzato, please.
An extremely powerful weapon. Except an alternate explanation. Oh, so we're supposed to pit the worker and juror number 2 because that's an alternate explanation as to how a knife could have got to her.
Oh my god, she threw a knife and... oh my god.
Wow.
There's no way.
Oh my god.
Oh
There's
my
no
god.
way.
That's
In a
fantastic,
fit of
actually. Holy
rage,
shit.
She yeeted a knife and
The music
stabbed
stopped.
someone.
That's absolutely it. Oh my
That's
god.
ridiculous. I knew that she was looking for an alternative of how to stab. I didn't think it was gonna. Well, actually, I guess it makes sense because if Olive Green was able to pick up the book, that means she's within range.
You know, that actually checks. I'm surprised that... I was only half thinking that she was playing Pokemon still, but man, I feel like I should have seen that.
Originated in Mr. Garadib's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from Garadib's household to the street below.
Specifically into someone's back.
Are we doing voice acting?
Nah. I just like
Okay.
read the parts where he's pacing back and forth. I like reading because I don't know.
Okay.
I like the it's kind of like a mini version of the things that you see in mystery novels where the detective will get everybody into a room and tell them exactly what happened.
Gotcha. Beanpole?
Beanpole because
Wow.
he's skinny.
He's average anime physique.
Yeah, skinny.
Relative to the world, he's not that skinny.
Where is my fat
Galal?
Ace Attorney
Eastern
protagonist?
Gala.
You give us this yarn about some other object. That's an interesting way. I just want to read the dialogue to understand these idioms, these old-fashioned idioms. If you throw someone in yarn, does that mean provide evidence?
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he said like throw us
Like
some
throwing
yarn.
yarn.
Give us
You
this
give us
yarn.
yarn.
No, give us this yarn. Yarn is in story.
Yeah, when you spin someone a yarn.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So you're not
he
physically
sings.
so you're not physically giving them yarn. He's saying give us the story about this other object.
It's still cool. I haven't
It is
heard of
still
it
cool, I agree.
value.
The reason that's why it's called spinning a yarn, because fucking loom seamstresses would be bored out of their fucking mind and just tell stories to each other.
Yeah, and then they would get their fingers caught and die.
That's also where the term gossip came from, if I remember correctly.
Ooh.
Take that!
Ta-da!
Is this knife? Mrs. Garadeb, do you recognize this? She's like, oh, I forgot.
Oh yes, that's my throwing knife. I used to throw into people's backs.
Oh, is he actually gonna ask if she knows this?
Have you ever seen this before? Man, that would be
Good Lord,
incredible
what is
if we.
happening in there?
That'd be incredible if we
Sorry, she
pitted
didn't
it
see
on this
anything.
lady. I would be so happy because
Oh,
this
God,
lady
remember
needs to
that?
go to jail.
Remember that time that we literally just blamed Old Bag to stall for time in that one case?
Yeah, it was great. She deserved it. Okay. Flew out of the window across the street and landed neatly in her hand.
No, she could have picked it up, you idiot.
And that's how it got into her back, was that she was bent over to pick up the book.
So gravity also did some work, I guess.
Right, but gravity won't have the thing launch out the window.
I'm sorry, it is the projectile acceleration of the throw into her back.
Oh!
Have you seen this knife before or not?
She could just lie.
Oh,
Never mind, apparently
oh.
she can't lie. And she's down! 1, 2, 3. Oh. Objection.
I wish
got
to
up at the
change my
2 and-
decision.
She got
But-
up to the 2 3/4 count.
But she's a witness, doesn't she? If we're now going to indict her for the manslaughter theoretically of Olive Green, couldn't she just say guilty because she's like, I don't want to get blamed? Oh, I'm glad I Killed Cell now agrees with us.
I mean, we're not just. I mean, this could be a theory, but it's nice that, I guess they just changed their mind.
There's gonna have to be something where what's his face? Von Zieks will go like, well, what about this detail then? Explain that. All together now, ladies and gents. But it's
Except for the lady who.
oh,
he
and the
didn't-
old man.
The old man is not.
Oh, man's just asleep. That guy truly does not know where he is. We did it. We sauced him up.
All right. I need to remember when we eventually get around to playing this again, which we might be playing this in between Metroid Dread and Brilliant Diamond, so it should be okay. I have to remember that the jury interrogation sections can be pretty fucking complex. Need to remember to repress statements when they change.
So no one's concerned about the fainted woman.
The fainted woman who also we
Violent
kind of
woman.
just indicted for manslaughter.
I mean, technically, she would have to have a separate trial.
Right, but that's the thing, is that we could be like, well, she's the one who threw the knife. Into a farce. Fuck you, Van Zykes. Also, you're clipping.
Van Yikes.
Van Yikes, dude.
Sorry, I was talking about a finely chopped and highly seasoned meat or fish served alone or used as a stuffing. A farce.
Oh, farce.
Dude, this guy's mustache is a W. I'm just
Yeah.
reminding myself of that fact. We said Waluigi.
The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond. Relative positions of those places being discussed.
That is true.
they're pretty far. Royal Ride Street, Briar Road. She could throw it really hard. 15 yards. So that's... Thanks.
14 meters or 45
It's 40.
feet.
It's 45 feet. Yeah. I thought they were gonna say that, but I forgot he just needed it in metric.
Right.
In her chubby little hands.
I mean, are you looking down on her?
Yes. I expect her to. I expect to see her slip on
She's
ice and
quite
roll
short.
down the street and then bowl over a couple buildings. And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back?
Could have been.
Could have been, to be fair. I mean, she could have, like, I don't know how or why she would have done it, but she could have. The book could have went out the window. Olive Green crossed the road to pick up the book, got the knife in her back, but didn't realize because she's so fat, and then went across the street and passed out. Seems unlikely, but it could happen. God, wouldn't that be really funny if we immediately, all the jurors go, all right, guilty. And we had to do it
Oh
again.
my god, within like 5 seconds, they all switch their decision.
I mean, we had that one case where the criminal had to rely on a fucking pendulum mechanism that spanned an entire chasm to get the body across.
That's true.
That's true.
Not like it wasn't even just the fact that it swung. It was the fact that the rope had to let go at the perfect time in order for the body to get across the chasm.
I was gonna say, and it was all improvised as well on the spot.
Exactly, not planned.
Not plans, no prior. It was using a burning rope from a burning bridge.
So stupid. Must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination. I agree.
Saints alive.
Hey,
Cross-examination
there's
of
your
a
point from
juror.
earlier.
I don't give a shit if she's a
Oh
juror.
yeah, these guys have just been standing there this entire time. I forgot about it. The
Well, they
little
moved
couple.
back. We moved them into the back of the room a little bit, but yeah.
Objection!
My wine! Unnecessary. Already witnesses in the stance whose testimony and defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth to it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. I mean, I guess so, because they do claim that they saw the woman collapse. So...
Man, they keep us in a section for like so long that we actually forget what we were talking about before, which does actually contradict what we just like discovered, which is kind of funny.
He's waking up.
He's waking
Yes,
up.
sir.
Ashen
Constable
dust.
Rowley Beat, reporting for duty, sir.
He wipes his brow and he slaps his nuts.
What the fuck?
What? You never seen that one?
Oh,
Never read the lyrics.
Sorry for dozing off until now, sir.
I'm
I
set
have
for a
been
month.
slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my bait, sir.
Once again, the music, their musical theme is really good. So now we're gonna get their testimony as to whether or not they saw a burning book and a knife.
They're gonna be like, "Oh, we just saw a bird in the fog," and that because of the book being open,
Being
it just looks like
open.
a bird.
Yeah, I could see that. What the hell is this? Adrian,
What?
this case has nothing to do with Mr. Zucchero. Believe me, Ellen and Bobby is as good as his word. You see, sir, went on top floor of the Gerda's house our top hinge casements? I don't know what that means. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. I did believe the scene to go fetch help. Was there to make sure nothing was
there
disturbed?
fog or not? I don't get it.
I don't take my eyes off the
get
crime
it.
scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report in front, sir. I'm gonna press the statement about the top hinge, whatever. Oh, never mind. That detail is not in the police report, Constable. No, shit.
Oh my gosh.
Must have been a little drowsy. Cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness.
He suffered.
You
No,
must
that's
die.
sloth is just laziness.
You must die.
You must die.
What exactly is a top hinge casement window? You cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, learned friend. Go fuck yourself. It's not my job to know random. It's his job to report as accurately as possible.
A top hinged window is, I think, the ones you just open it, like, so it only opens at like the bottom a little bit, so you can't throw anything out of it because like the top of the window is like there.
So it would just
block
fall. It wouldn't. Okay.
Unless you shatter the window, which we saw was clearly not shattered. Unless they had it fixed.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't see this. Okay. Wounds open along the upper edge, you see.
Well, I guess this throws out our theory.
About her throwing
Get
it.
it?
Yeah.
Good one, Saba.
It's stay, the metal bar.
Absolutely correct, sir.
Dude, watch, we're about to go right back into the fucking, like, putting them against each other again, because, like, oh, that makes sense, guilty.
Oh,
No, yeah, this definitely feels like, oh, so all of our hard work is thrown out the window? Okay, back to guilty.
Because of details that we couldn't, well, I guess we could have known. Because we did know about the fire. But also, I don't know, man, whatever. This is fucking, I'm so tired. Fenzeeks, you suck. Leave me alone. I saw how he crumbled before me. You're so strong. I'm gonna push you over. Like an upright broom.
If you could drag yourself upright.
I'm glad that they're picking up on his like mannerisms, like canonically. They're like, all right, I know. Believe me, let a body as good as word. Not true.
I mean, I think that's false though, because that book still had something to do with.
It's in
Mr.
her
and
hand.
Mrs. Garrett.
It's
Yeah.
in her hand.
So
And it's
why is it
confirmed
in
by
her
the
hand?
maid to have been in her hand.
Like,
Now that-
fine, this part is not debatable, but I'm sorry that it's still of importance.
Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it.
I would like to press that.
I'd like to leave. I'd leave the scene to go fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. You want to press
That's fine.
this?
I think we could try pressing this, and then going back to like what he said about they had nothing to do with it.
Rolly was rolling along, gazing at the night sky, looking
But it
for our
was
lucky
foggy! But it was foggy! You told us! I'm rising in pitch even further!
Oh my god.
Well, Saba, fog it hangs along the ground. You can see like if the fog is really thick that it goes over you, yeah, you can't see anything. But as they described, I think when they say light fog, I think they just mean that it was like around people's feet.
Okay, because if that's the case, sure. They haven't explained it to me. Clearly, I don't know what fog is then.
Well, because when I think of fog, I think of like New England fog, where like the entire earth is just gray and I can't see shit, which clearly is what they're used to referring to. But like they're saying that they looked up at the night sky, and I'm like, well, it must not be that.
Of course, with that smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars.
All right, never mind. I'll eat my foot. That's fine.
Oh, that was good.
I would make a foot and mouth emote if I wasn't afraid that it would be used by foot fetishists.
Oh no.
Oh, hang on.
Oh no.
You activated my trap card.
Oh,
You
fuck.
walked into it.
Where is it? Here we
Okay,
go. Yeah!
The fuck
Wait,
is that?
how?
Is that
That's
fucking
Widowmaker.
Is that
No.
Widowmaker sucking on toes?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
So-
focus again, please. Oh my. So if he
You
was
activated
if
my
he's a
trap card,
drowsy
Zach.
boy,
Hey Adrian, for no particular reason, is that from something?
oh no.
Well, yeah, you can look it up. It's from Blongstart.
It's from Blongstart. You can find it on
That
Blongstart.
that is disgusting and disturbing. Where?
Exactly.
Souse?
I think we talked about it before, but I told you guys about the
Why
very
is this a little
blatant
strange?
phenomenon of Overwatch's 2019 revival, or sorry,
Yeah.
2018 revival being
You mentioned this on stream, yeah.
yeah, being obstinately triggered by people being able to like suddenly finding high quality models just online. Where could that have been from? I don't know. How to find it and hand the victim. Yeah.
Tactical.
Oh, is he falling asleep again? No.
Could it be a
that's
different
stupid.
copy?
I'm sorry, you're cute, but it's no.
You know what's kind of upsetting is the way that he's fucking always chewing on his helmet strap thing. I used to do that all the time with a little string that I had to tie around the ends of my glasses so I wouldn't lose them back when I was really bad at keeping track of things. And so I'm just reminded of like middle schooler me constantly chewing on a little red string whenever I see his face.
Was it the time frame, Zach?
Time frame of
No,
what?
like you said, the fire happened like around the same time.
Well, the fire happened at 5. It was the same event where Mrs. Garadeb was obliterating their household. So it would have been on fire. I don't know how it wouldn't have.
Because he just said that particular thread of like answers seemed weird to him, but I don't know how.
Well, that's the thing. We have to press we're gonna have to press another statement and then connect the two, I guess. Based on the fact that he said it, I wonder if it's one of her statements that I should press. Sure. Why not press this? Very good question, sir. The answer is this.
Did we look at this? Do we have
No,
it in
it's
our
not evidence.
playground? Oh.
God, could you imagine if he's not actually a Bobby? He just dresses like one.
For Halloween, yeah.
Actually,
Oh, I gotta...
Actually, that would kind of make sense because his uniform's not standard.
It does have patches on it.
It has
It's also
patches
much-
and it's made of and it has buttons.
I was gonna say it's also a lot lighter than the other Bobby's uniforms we saw.
He might be fake.
Well, I mean, he did write a police report and all that. So,
Not a very good one, clearly.
oh, not a very good one, but he still did.
Maybe he just showed up at Scotland Yard one day and they were like, oh, he's dressed like one of us, he must be one of us. He just hitman his way in.
He hit his way in and he didn't even know it.
Could you imagine that hitmanning your way into a job every single day and everyone just thinks you're supposed to be there?
Oh, actually, well, first off,
Oh,
there have
man.
been instances of that actually happening. But second off, since I know you like gaslighting people so much, Adrian, it turns out that in one of the more recent levels in Hitman 2, the new one that they put out, there you could straight up gaslight guards in one of the levels because the idea is that it's a new facility with a bunch of new guards. And normally in the Hitman series, when if somebody has like a little dot over their head, that means that they should recognize that you're not who you're supposed to be if you're disguised as them or someone that would be below them. But when you go up to them, they'll stop you, and then if you do your dialogue correctly, you'll just fucking gaslight them, and it'll be like, oh yeah, I guess we just didn't meet before. Go on through. It's really funny.
Got him.
And I actually think about that sometimes because I don't know what they're feeding middle schoolers these days, but they're like, a lot of them are as tall as me, especially the 8th graders going into high school. And some of them even taller, like that 6'4" Goliath I mentioned a while ago. But
Oh boy.
Oh,
I think about how the number one thing that delineates me from a student there is that I don't have a backpack. And so if one of the bigger students just straight up left their backpack somewhere in like a corner and went up into like the office and asked for some keys, there's a small chance they could succeed.
Ooh.
Like, legit, the two things that demark me as being a member of staff and not actually a student are the fact that I carry a walkie-talkie around, like maybe with other staff, and the fact that I don't have a backpack.
Well,
Because
Um,
time for a kid to hitman the way to your job.
they could. One of them probably could. It's a good thing none of them watched the stream.
it's not his beat. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered.
you're
But
right.
this
He was
wasn't
off on his anniversary thing, right?
Yeah, it's not his beat, so he shouldn't have been the one that put in the report.
But he did it anyway.
I don't know how to bring that up.
But doesn't
What
that
if-
conflict with the last one, though, Zach?
What
last
the one
would be
we
like if you
just the
witness
one
any
he
crime?
just said? This one?
What if it was his beat, but he was just going an anniversary on his beat?
No, but he literally said earlier that it wasn't his beat.
Oh, never mind then.
I don't know, Saba, do you want to present the rules here, you think? We only have 3 health.
Man, I'm not sure.
But we
I mean,
do
the
have
fact seems
infinite
like the only
saves.
thing.
Adrian.
I'm just saying, that's how the traditional player play this game. The age-old tradition of save scumming in Ace Attorney and visual novel games to a greater extent.
That's true. Is Ace Attorney the most successful visual novel series?
It's probably some fucking porn game in Japan I've never heard of.
Also true.
Ace Attorney has to be more popular than Laser Shoot Larry, right? Although I guess it's a
I
point
don't know
and
if
click game, not really.
Laser Suit Larry is definitely a point and click game instead.
Except for the Xbox one,
Yeah,
because that wasn't a point
the
and
one
click
that was
game.
3D.
Yeah.
They actually had a new Leisure Suit Larry that came out last year, by the way.
I didn't hear anything about it.
Literally, it was called Wet
Oh.
Dreams Don't Dry, and it's a
Oh yeah.
yeah, and it was a very weird game because despite the fact that it had almost nothing to do with it, it did actually within this one particular cutscene, and I will be pressing this in a second or pursuing it. In one particular cutscene, they make reference to the Suda 51 game Dark Dreams Don't Die, which is what the game is named after. And apparently, it's literally just one of the writers for the Leisure Suit Larry game was a fan of that game and makes a like consummate plea to Microsoft to be like, hey, can you make Dark Dreams Don't Die episode 2, please?
Wow.
And it's like, what? Excuse me.
When you mentioned the name, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that Dan played that on Grumps or tried to, didn't he?
I think so. It's not very good, by the way.
I mean, the fact that I forgot completely about it in the course of 1 year.
Are you particularly we are all so lucky. Do you find yourself to be a consummate professional in the Leisure Suit Larry franchise? Are you
No,
particularly well versed?
I've never played one of the games, but I watched Dan play through Summa Cum Laude was the name of the Xbox one, I think.
Yeah.
I watched a good chunk of that playthrough. I didn't watch all of it, and I watched like 2 episodes of Wet Dreams Don't Dry.
Game Grumps had a older one where they did one of, I think it was like Leisure Suit
Yeah.
Larry 2. And
I watched a clip of that, and I didn't watch
yeah.
the rest of it.
It was an interesting one because it's actually a lot less overtly perverted than you might think, given the like the reputation of the series, like right up until you get to the point where you go up into the penthouse with the multimillionaire actress lady, and it's like, that's a real person. They just took a photo and pixelated it.
Yes.
Like, this is
They did
actually
that for the
like,
loading screens in the Xbox One.
True. Their house is on my beat. Okay, so it is on their beat. I wonder if you could clarify something. The Gyarados household was on your beat. Does that mean the pavement next to it is as well? Did he, or, oh my god, could you imagine if, okay, here's my theory. Mrs. Beat really adores her husband, and she wants to spend as much time as possible with him. However, he has to walk 20 kilometers a day or whatever for his job, so she doesn't get nearly as much time as she wants. They're on their anniversary, walking around, and in front of them, they see a fat lady pick up a book and get a knife in her back, to which she goes, "No! I want to spend time with my husband!" So she drags this fat-ass lady to the other side of the street so he doesn't have to do the investigation and they can keep doing their anniversary.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Could you imagine that?
Wow.
That would be wild.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, how mad would you be at her if that was the truth?
Well, because the thing is that it's like, okay, so the actual murderer, intentional or not, is the maid wife, but then an accomplice with knowing it, but an accomplice would be her, a second wife.
Who had nothing to do with the murderer.
Who had nothing to do with the murderer, but did end up interfering with the investigation, which is an entire different barrel of worms.
Oh my.
Barrel of worms. Not just a can, a barrel of them.
Barrel of worms.
By the way, when it comes to piracy, Zach, you wouldn't gabagool.
You wouldn't gabagool. Are you sure? Are you sure that's piracy or is that mafia? Because it's gabagool.
You wouldn't gabagool.
If you replace one of those O's with a U, it could be a Halloween thing.
You need an H there.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how you spell ghoul.
I know how to spell ghoul.
A scary ghoul one day showed up and zombified itself.
What are you doing? Oh, she updated it. Pavement where the victim was found lies just outside. Constable Beats beat. I wonder if that's where people go, oh, beat.
I sure hope they do.
We have 20 minutes. Can you ask something again? You're doubting us, I can tell. Yes, because you're evil.
That's also my job.
You're evil.
Ah.
I know you are.
I can feel it.
Oh, please.
I can feel the cliches.
As of right now, almost all the women we've encountered like to throw things and stab people and snap their necks with scarves.
I was zoomed out, or I had the window small, so I thought that period was a comma, and I was gonna ask why the J was capitalized.
Please, just.
Comma.
Give me 1 second. I'm just looking at some stuff. How many are there still people actually watching? Are there people watching us in this crap?
Good question.
I like how that's what you call this.
I like how baffled you were at that concept.
Well, because I popped open the viewer list for a second, and there's like a decent number of people in here, but then the view count says 3, so it's me. I see Lawrence, and then there must be one actual person in here other than me and Lawrence.
I was in there 5 seconds ago. Yeah, so.
If you were there 5 seconds ago, maybe it was you, and the count just didn't get updated. Because if that's the case,
I see 4.
You see 4?
I see 4.
Who's the real
people, so
person?
I don't know.
Who's the imposter?
You reveal yourself immediately.
Zach, I saw Lauren's vent.
Oh shit.
Oh god, that's still one of my favorite clips from our Among Us session.
Which one? The one where you immediately outed yourself by killing me?
Well, that was really funny as well. But nah, it was the one where it was like my first game as what you calls it, and I killed Lawrence, hopped into a vent, and then Dave walked right on top of Lawrence's corpse, and Janine immediately goes, "It was him!"
Oh. Because I remember being so baffled as the ghost. Like, what are you all doing?
To be fair, from her perspective, it makes kind of sense, I guess. Also, look at. I want you to observe what the scarf actually does when she pulls it. By the way,
it's clipping a lot.
That's fine. It's whatever.
Well, so what I think is actually happening is I think he might be a physics object. And what's happening is that the scarf is a tether that connects to the rigid spine of the 3D model, but they didn't know how to do that without having it clip.
No, yeah. That's fair.
When was this game made? It's a few years ago, right? Hang on.
Well, I mean, this game literally came out when the first week that we played it.
Right, but the translation.
The first week that we played it.
The original was made in 2015.
Did it have all these models?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't see.
You're saying that the game. You're saying that the original like Japanese 3DS game from 2015 looked this good.
I don't think it was as high quality, but it probably had like lower version models.
Okay.
Maybe they released on those fancy Japanese 3DSs that have an extra computer processor and 4 gallons of water cooling.
4 gallons of water cooling. My sense of direction is off a little bit, though. Okay. This beat, nobody is questioning what you've told us. She's really self-conscious.
Oh, yeah.
What's that on his wrist?
I don't know. It's some metal thing. Because normally we can't see it.
I was gonna say, do you think it's a tracking device? Does
you
he
think
have a
it's
restraining order?
You think it's a wrist-mounted revolver?
What is he, a fucking Mega Man character?
Yeah.
What would his man title be?
Drowsy Man.
Okay.
Scarf Man.
Wasn't there a Sheep Man? I think there was a Sheep Man.
Yeah, there was a Sheep Man in Mega Man 10.
Oh! He has a headache. He's
I was always
thinking.
ending up in the wrong place when I made arrangements to meet Rolly.
What?
He gets ever so cross.
Was that miniature portrait always there for them?
So if you go and look at someone else, it brings up the portrait to indicate who said the line that you're looking at right now.
Oh, gotcha.
It's really convenient. I noticed it only just like an hour ago when we were talking to the old man, and I was checking all of the people to see if they had a response.
Gotcha.
I still think it would be really cool if we had an occasion where we didn't get the exclamation point and we just had to pay attention to animations.
That'd be cool.
Like it was fucking LA Noir.
They take off the training wheels.
Oh man, I is this guy gonna get mad?
No, he's
What's
just like, I remembered that's what happened that evening.
When you think of video game mechanic training wheels, what's like the first thing that comes to your head?
Press forward to walk. I don't know what you mean by training wheels.
That's a good question.
Oh, requires you to read subtle facial clues, but it's the guy whose face scrunches up into a fucking ball whenever he lies. It's a really good point. What was so long was because of the bouquet. Okay.
Man, the story of fucking LA Noir is always sad to me, as far as the game dev side of things.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty fucked.
What do you mean? What happened in the game dev side of things?
You can tell the story while I do this if you want, Adrian.
I don't remember all the details super well, but from the gist of it is that the studio was under immense pressure and spent a lot of money and several years making the game, only for them to then immediately become bankrupt and go out of business.
Oh no!
So I can give a little bit of extra detail. Can't remember the name of the guy for the life of me, but essentially he was a former Rockstar like head developer. He then moved to Australia, which is where the game development for LA Noire like took place. And not only was he verbally and allegedly physically abusive, he was also a really just bad planner to begin with. He may have came up with the basic premise for LA Noire, I guess, but he was really bad at managing the whole thing, both morally and otherwise. But he was the one that got them picked up by LA Noire when development was going south. And as Adrian said, it was a fuck ton of money. It ruined a lot of people's lives. They all immediately got fired when the project was over. And I want to say like 50% of the pay that was supposed to go out to developers just went up in smoke, and they were screwed because of like local Australian law or whatever.
Damn.
There you go. Yeah, that's the part I don't remember the exacts of, but it was just a tragedy. And it's like, man, and like this game wasn't. I don't think it was really even worth all that at the end of it. It doesn't seem like it.
Well, LA Noire was a really good game, and in all honesty, if the development had been any better, I would have loved to have seen. Actually, they were planning on doing a sequel to LA Noire. It was going to take place, I want to say, in San Francisco, and it was straight up called The Whore of the Orient. So that would have gone over. So that would have gone over well.
Maybe it's best that it didn't get a sequel.
Perhaps.
Well, because for those of you who played LA Noire, the majority of the game revolves around Black Dahlia murders and stuff. The idea of like it's around that era, and it involves a lot of that stuff that happened in real life. And apparently, there was an actual string of serial killings where they were all referred to as the Whore of the Orient killings. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it would allegedly would have used the exact same facial technology as LA Noire, which I think literally no one else has ever used. It's not even patented, it's just excessive.
Yeah.
I saw the woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked, I dropped the bouquet. Where the streets weren't casting light, so I didn't notice at first.
Well, where's the bouquet now?
Yeah.
It's important. That bouquet could be crucial to this investigation.
It got moved! He moved it! No! If the victim is not deceased. Her husband, presumably. Okay. But that being said, she also gets confused with directions sometimes, so maybe she just misremembered where it was, because the streets look kind of similar. I do like the theoretical assumption that the bouquet must have been moved and not the body because she's so fat. You laughing, Lawrence?
Oh, I'm just wondering if the recording caught that.
Oh, it's the solitary rose.
The solitary rose.
The music's so good, dude.
It's so cheery and upright, and half of the people in the scene are asleep.
Yeah.
That's true, actually.
Like, half the people this music represents are constantly asleep.
It was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garadeb household. So based on her testimony, the body was actually at the base of the thing, but somehow it moved across the road. But then again, didn't they say that they saw her fall? Did they fucking prop her up? Like, did she have a knife in her back and she had been passed out, so they propped her up and she fell over?
Oh man, I don't know, maybe.
Also, the bouquet is wrapped in a newspaper. I wonder if that's going to be relevant.
Can you hear my dog barking?
Only when you talk.
Oh.
Never mind.
There it is.
It's going fucking wild outside.
Can I take the rose out? Anything? Do you not take an interest in flowers? No, you think I'm some sort of nerd?
Who do you think I am?
Perhaps you should consider branching out. Is that a pun?
Branching out. Yeah, I was thinking about it.
It looks so exotic to me. Stone baked street potato in English newspaper. What? What the fuck are you talking? Is there nothing to this evidence? I guess not. Because that's the rose.
It's the rose.
Alright, well. Fuck me, I guess. I don't know. I want it back after the trial.
Good grief.
Good fucking God.
Holy shit!
Jesus Christ.
I didn't
Scared
take
me
my
from
eye
across
off the
the
crime
gulf.
scene, so now we can press this because...
So this technically true because if he moved it, then yeah. Technically, he didn't take his eyes off the crime scene.
Never looked away for a second.
And nothing was removed from it. Yeah? On the yards on the sack.
Strange stuff.
Was originally in Garrett's household, so the question remains, how did it find its way to the hand of the victim? Wait, no, we already saw this. Bruh. Trying to get a picture of what really happened.
Have you guys seen the post positing that Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny are Pokemon species?
Oh my
What the
gosh.
fuck are you talking about?
Because they all look relatively the same, and some Pokemon have been known to pick up human language.
That's really funny.
And
Well,
also
how
Pokemon
come we
have
haven't
been known to be
seen a
humanoid.
shiny? How come we haven't seen a shiny Officer Jenny and Nurse Joy yet? Then
Think about every single time that we've seen one of them out of their usual outfits.
oh fuck, dude! The shiny Pokemon has a form change.
There you go.
Can I present the rose here?
Why?
Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed, but allegedly the rose went across the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad we're
Let's
paying
trust
attention.
that.
I'm glad we're paying attention. Lawrence is dying.
Yeah. That sleepy witness over there, that's me.
It's like 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what, Lawrence? I'm with you. Oh, fuck, I forgot to do something.
Oh, I lost health.
Man, I just remembered something I had to do that I totally forgot to do. Shit!
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's okay, I
we
can
do
still be
this?
at stream while it happens, but I just forgot to order food for my mom. That's not good.
Well, I hope everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. I don't know how to proceed.
Did you press everything?
As far as I can tell, yeah.
Hmm.
Did she tell us on what side?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Um.
So to explain, I will review since clearly people need a review. The victim is where the X was, obviously, as we've established. However, she claims that she got the rose because it was their like bouquet thing or whatever, but she immediately dropped it when she saw the body, and it was dropped at the corner of the household, right? So it's on the opposite side of the road. She goes,
Okay,
she sees the body.
yeah.
She says, I'm going to go get another constable to help. Right? She goes,
Yeah.
is gone for 15 minutes, comes back, points out the body. The constable goes over there. And when she goes to the corner of the street to pick up the rose, she's like, oh, it's not here.
Can we present like this this to her story?
I really don't think that's enough. Like, I don't
'Cause,
know,
like,
man.
clearly that's like the piece of evidence.
The
saying this.
Yeah. You see, that's when I spotted my bouquet again, but funny thing was, when I picked it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. Exactly.
Where was it then? Did we press that?
A, that's what we're doing right
Or-
now. And
Oh,
B,
okay.
we've already established, because it should be in a moment, Van Zeeks interrupts and he says that it's across, it was discovered across the street. And by across the street, I
Gotcha.
mean at the corner of the Garadeb household.
Gotcha. Have we considered wind?
Have we considered profile? Presenting his profile?
I don't know if we
onto
could really
this?
present a profile. Yeah, we
I was
can.
gonna say, I don't think that was a thing we could
So not
do
for
in
this
this
one.
series yet. But
Okay. Not sure.
why would the bouquet move across the street?
The bouquet moved across the street because it didn't move across the street. The body did.
Everything else moved across the street.
Everybody assumed that the body couldn't have been moved because it was a giant fat lady, which I already stated like 10 minutes ago. And that's why, because essentially that's what I'm saying. I don't know how to establish the point that the rose did not move, the body was moved. I don't know how to
You think
establish
Rolly
that.
rolled the body over?
That makes sense, actually.
That's why his name is Rolly.
Once again, this doesn't
Rolly.
actually help progress, but it is a good pun.
The bouquet?
I don't know,
What does
like,
that
because the thing,
say? Wait,
because
what does the bouquet say? Just go back to the bouquet for a sec. I want to see what the bouquet says. Where she stood. Like, if we could like do the rose with the map, like that would make sense then. Maybe.
because there's also the rub of across the street is not his beat, right?
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Does anybody have any ideas?
It's like we know what's wrong. We just don't know what to present.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I pressed all the statements. All the statements have been pressed. That's why we have 2 new pieces of evidence and a new statement, which I also pressed.
Man, are we really ending off stream being a little stuck here?
I don't know.
Cool. I guess we'll end it here then. All right.
We're gonna be just as baffled the next time we go back, I
Mhm.
guess. Or maybe we'll have a fresh pair of eyes.
Wow.
Maybe we're gonna be freshly paralyzed.
Maybe,
This
maybe with the use of our body being taken from us, our brains might work better.
This is called the case the Clouded Kokoro. Clouded Heart. So where's the heart come in?
The love between the two of them, maybe.
Maybe.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.
Nice.
Back tomorrow for Okami, and then next week
Okami.
is Metroid Dread.
Yay.
Get hype. Good night.
Yeah.